Hi, so we did the optic nerve. My name's Lisette,
My name is Melissa.
My name is Aya.
and we're going to be going over the nerve of the eye. And so this is an optic nerve and that you can see here in the picture. The optic nerve helps us meditate the senses of our vision, and in this picture you could see that it's located in the back of the brain and it is only its responsibility is to send signals from the eye to our brain. Each side of our eyes has an optic nerve and it sends visual messages to our brain to give us the ability to see that object. And, the optic nerve transmits visual signals to the lateral nucleus. In this picture, it's located there. Um, and and what I've talked about in the first slide, the optic nerve can be seen connected to the eyes. So you see that black line, it's technically everything's like all connected, and that's where we're able to see our visual images. And the visual images will be connected to the visual cortex of the brain for where it helps us project the objects we see. In the picture, you could see where the nucleus is located and how the optic nerve is connected to the back, and you could see where the visual cortex is located and how it can be used to help us see the visual object. And then you could click it again, and then that's it. You can see how it's connected, and then there again. And you can see where the visual cortex is and the lateral nucleus and the optic nerve and how it is used to see the object.
So, where does it go? The image you see here is an example of what the inside of our eye and the nerve looks like. The retinal cells receive stimulation from light and activation of the cone cells of the retina. It is then modified by the horizontal interneuron cells, which are transmitted alterations of the membrane potential. Soon it is transmitted by the bipolar ganglion cells of the optic nerve, and these cells go in the lateral geniculate body, a nucleus of the thalamus.
Okay, so the innervation site of the optic nerve is going to be the retina. So you see where like the light comes in through the pupil, it'll hit the retina in the back, and here's where the ganglion cells kind of convert into electrical impulses, and then they create like axons that like create this chain to the optic nerve. Um, and our nerve is more of an afferent or sensory nerve. It is considered afferent because it is taking in sensory information, in this case, visual input from the outside toward the brain or the visual cortex. So some things that could happen if there's damage to the optic nerve is actually there's two different kinds of damage that can occur. If it happens in the optic chiasm, there is a chance of loss of vision to the opposite field. And here I have a visual. The optic chiasm is going to be this sort of like intersection in between the right optic nerve and the left optic nerve. So if damage happens behind the optic nerve in this area, say if it happened in this left area, the field of vision in the right eye would be damaged. However, if it happened in this area, the left field of vision would be damaged. And then damage to the right optic nerve results in a loss of vision in the left field, which is called left homonymous hemanopia. And then damage to the left optic tract results in loss of vision in the right field, which is called a right homonymous hemanopia. And then damage at the optic chiasm can result in a loss of the decussation information. So you see here where like the information crosses each other. If damage happens in this area, um, it would, for the right eye, it would lose the right visual field, and in the left eye, it loses the left visual field, which is called a heteronymous bitemporal hemanopia. And that's it. Thank you.